Film School Slacker contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Film School Slacker, the podcast where I go through my ever-growing watch list of films, and usually with me is my friend Meghan, but she is, as many of my friends disappear this time of year, they disappear into the Renaissance Festival. I don't see them for ages and ages, but very lucky for me, I have my good friend Sabra with me this time. And what are we watching today, Sabra?
We are going to be watching the bestest junk food movie ever, Showgirls.
All right, Showgirls. I've pulled it up. 1995, NC-17. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Oh my God, that's exciting. This is our first NC-17 movie of the podcast.
Wait, was it? It wasn't good enough to get a rated R. They gave it.
No, it's the above rated R.
Oh, it is above rated R. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like the adult.
Yeah,
like I don't think there's that many theatrical releases that are NC-17, like in in a wide stream, like AMC kind of situation.
Well, now that I think about it, yeah, there's a lot of titties flying around. There's a lot of like,
honey, when you've made the sale, stop selling.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's directed by Paul Verhoevens. We've got Joe Esterhaus as the writer, and as you were saying earlier, we've got the stars are Elizabeth Berkley, Kyle MacLachlan, the captain,
Dune.
Oh my God,
the original Dune.
The original Dune, which I still haven't seen. That's
Twin
on the
Peaks.
list too. Twin Peaks. I've also never seen Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Well, this is film school, so it's movies, but then we're going to have to get into
TV too.
Series.
There's a massive amount of content available for this podcast.
Oh, and then the 90s resting bitch face icon herself, Gina Gershon.
Glenn Plummer, Robert Davey. Okay. Wow. That's very interesting. I didn't know there was like a mainstream movie with like mainstream actors that was NC-17, and like it's just like this is so many things I just didn't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's one of those things that they love to not talk about. I think Elizabeth Berkley's doing a series now or something, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
It is. It's absolutely one of my favorite movies, because it's just junk food.
So the only thing I know, besides the fact that it is has enough risque, it's sexy enough to have a above rated R rating. I know nothing else except for I believe that she's supposed to be like a Vegas showgirl or trying to be a Vegas showgirl or something like that.
She wants to break into being a showgirl.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like at this point I can't imagine that. And so this is 95. So it's not.
It's like one of my. I had just moved to Minneapolis.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This has got some like connecting tissue for your life.
So 95. So like it's 2020. So like it's like my 30-year anniversary in Minneapolis.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was peak bi. So like
like hello.
I love this movie.
As many titties as possible.
Yeah, lots of titties.
Was where Sabra was at the time.
I was dating somebody at the time, Tigger. She had great boobs. So, yeah.
I love it. No, that's interesting because I found that my favorite is when people come in to do a guest piece on this show and they usually have a strong connection to the movie, and it can be really good or really bad. Like their connection to it. Like I had my good friend Mike came on to do Pulp Fiction. And I had never seen Pulp Fiction. Yeah. And so he came into Pulp Fiction and he's like, he grew up being Mr. like, what's that?
I had to watch it 3 times to see it all the way through because I kept on falling asleep.
Get to that part where it's just what's his nuts walking around in the city street for like 15, 20 minutes. You're like, oh God, what? Did he do something now?
Yeah. It took me forever to get through that.
It was simultaneously like, it really was very masturbatory about like, the way it handled your time, that's the kind of,
exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt
Tarantino.
about it. Yeah, definitely. It feels very entitled to your time. But it was funny to talk to Mike because he grew up being Mr. Edgelord, loved Tarantino. And then like grew up and, became a person and, that cares about people and stuff. And he's like, I have a very different relationship to this movie now.
Yeah. So like we were talking before we started recording, my relationship is I grew up on Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And her character in Saved by the Bell was the like smart singer, know-it-all, good girl. Sure. And like one of the scenes, she like one of her story arcs is just she wanted to do really good on the SATs, and so she started taking speed. And she was getting ready to do like a talent show, and like she's getting put in the corner, and she's like, I'm so excited. And then she's like falls apart. It's just a really iconic scene for anybody like it's definitely Gen X, right?
Okay.
And so we grew up on that. And so when the movie came out and I saw the previews, I'm like, whoa. Elizabeth Berkley's like, she's going to let her freak flag fly. Right. I got to see this. Plus I was bi and I'm like, I want to see her titties.
Right.
And like, I've seen Gina Gershon's titties. Like she did that movie with, what's her face? The chick that plays the bride of Chucky. Like she's got that. And Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly.
She's like one of the, like, people don't know this, but she's like super rich.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause like she invested a lot, but her husband was rich. But like, yeah, she did a really sexy movie with Gina Gershon. So like when this came out and I was like, oh yeah, I'm all over it. And I saw it and I'm like, it's so awful. It's good. The writing's not that, but like it's the Twinkie. Okay. It's the Twinkie.
Yes.
You just
cream-filled dessert from the grocery store.
It's so bad for you. Right. It can sit on the shelf for a million years.
Right. You take it back out and it's exactly the same as it was.
It still tastes just as good, but you feel like that little twinge of guilt, that cringe.
Right.
So that's Showgirls. Get ready.
I'm so excited. Okay. All right. Well, with all that being said, I don't think we can put it off anymore. The titties are coming. So let's go ahead and go watch Showgirls.
Let's do this.
Okay. I thought that was going to be like a vapid misogynistic romp. And that's not at all what it was. Like, like there was certainly misogyny, but that wasn't, I don't know. Like it didn't make light of any of that. That's the part that is kind of shocking to me. Like I don't know why, but it feels like it holds up better than it has any right to. I don't know. Like it's crazy.
I love that you have that response to it too.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that it's junk food, but like every time I get to rewatch it, I'm reminded of how, to me, it's empowering.
Yeah.
The way that Naomi Malone navigates throughout the entire movie, she has agency. Most of the time when she's told she doesn't have agency, she reclaims her power.
Right.
In many different ways.
Yeah. And creative in different ways. And she always has a way to do it. That moment happens and it happens several times. And you see how she completely flips it on her head. Yeah. It was kind of amazing. Obviously I think we stopped counting at about 80 to 85 titties. That was the titty counter. Eventually just had to stop because there's just a lot. I mean, like, to be fair, NC-17, we saw a few vulvas. I mean, like, it was I think the biggest thing that people are going to be shocked by is the nature of the graphic, explicit content. But at the same time, you really couldn't make it without it. Because it's the only way you can really do the thing the way to give the proper sense of gravitas to every sequence. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. It took me by surprise. I was expecting to be like, oh boy, and that wasn't how I felt about it, which was weird.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. It's not that well written. There's some parts where they could have cleaned it up quite a bit, but I think the whole point was that she was supposed to be kind of a dingbat. But she was like a tough dingbat.
Yeah.
Like she
A survivor. She's a survivor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My only issues now, like back then, I didn't see those issues, but because of the work that I do and the things that I've been involved with, the whole like, I'm not a whore.
Right.
I don't sell my body. And it's like, well,
there's some
know,
language problems. Yeah. And
that was the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
The shame thing.
The shame
yeah,
part.
The sex work industry shame thing. And it's like.
Right. But at the same time, I watched it, like the read that I had on it didn't feel, I don't know, like she didn't have the shame except for those moments where she would fight the word, which I thought was interesting. And I don't know.
Because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that like, you don't get to call me a whore.
Right.
I get to call me a whore.
Right.
I get to own
Right.
that.
Right.
You don't get to put me in that position.
Because the connotation you're applying to it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna open my notes and we can just start kind of going through and discussing what we feel from there. I will say right away at the beginning, visual storytelling, super strong. You know, she comes in, we just start right with her on the side of the road trying to just hitchhike, right? And you know, you immediately get in there and it's like, that man is a red flag. Like you're immediately just embedded in like, what is she doing? What is her deal? Why is she like this? You know, it's just like you are immediately pulled into her story. And then immediately start getting really like gross sexual lines like the won't take you more than 15 minutes or, you know, little bits like that start happening right away. But we're, you know, looking at the scenario like that isn't surprising to see that. So she's, by the time she's in the car and I think it was right by the time that she got to he dropped her at Vegas, or they were like, she'd already got the switchblade out, like the whole thing had happened. I'm like, this one has made some really bad choices already. Like, but at the same time, she always like recovered. Like she always had like a next step. Like she was living in the moment, and the moment didn't go well, but she's already on to her next thing, and she's waking at work, which I thought was really interesting. I think the one part that I thought was interesting, and I think I wrote it later on, but it was relevant right away, with like, she's so mean to people and they love her. And it took me a long time to like kind of reconcile with the movie kind of expecting you to go along with that. Later on, once you kind of were more embedded in her as a character, it didn't bug me as much that people were kind of drawn to her. But at first I was like, oh God, she's so mean to you. Why do you keep, why, you know, she like, she was like crying on your car, and then you like, you know, got in a fight with her. She threw up on your shoes. You took her then in the act of pity. You took her to get a Happy Meal or whatever it was, and she like was super rude to you then. And now it's been 6 weeks, and you're living together.
It's Sorry, I hope Kevin will hear this and he'll be proud of me for that moment.
I hope so too.
You can't edit that out.
No, it's staying in. Oh, that's funny. No, but that, you know what I mean? Like that was the part where at first I was like, okay, so obviously she has some sort of charisma that like people are just drawn to, even when she's being ridiculous. And I just find that, I always find that interesting. Like I and it's just my own specific brand of spicy brain, but I always find it very interesting to study people who have like a natural charisma, and because it's like I don't manufacture that naturally. Mm-hmm. Like every bit of socializing I do is something that I've had to hyperanalyze in other people and you know, build that, you know, and so it's fun to watch people that just do that naturally.
Well, let's touch on that because you right away you're like, she's so mean to people. So clearly based on, when you get in further into the movie, mm-hmm. she's experienced some like serious trauma. So what we're not seeing is somebody who's mean. We're seeing somebody who is defensive, who has walls up.
Yes.
Who intentionally treats people that way. Like, the reason why this movie resonated with me the way it did is because I used to do that. I'd be like really hardcore right up front, mm-hmm. and like, rawr. Right. And like, if people stuck around after that, mm-hmm. then, and they were like, they got to see kind of the real shitty parts of me up front. Mm-hmm. And I was like that back in the 90s, like,
sure,
I'm a badass.
Right.
But it's all a front
Yeah.
for trauma, right?
Yeah.
But it also makes it's a way, it's like, what's the word? like something selection where the people that stuck around
Yeah,
are
the
like,
self-selecting.
like the people
absolutely.
that stuck around when you showed them attitude, they're like, okay, I
Not
see
immediately
that.
frightened. Mm-hmm.
They weren't frightened of it. So they were that, it meant that they would stick around. And the cool part about Molly was
Yeah.
she saw all that and she threw a temper tantrum.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, girl,
Yeah.
she saw
see
through
you.
that.
Yeah,
she saw, I
Right.
see you. And like, I'm going to
Right.
give you a place to stay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you, right away it was that you need a safe harbor. And
Right.
I see something
Right.
that a lot of other people
People are
don't
not
see. And I'm going to
seeing.
give that to you. So
Right.
I think it is unbelievable how mean she is to people, but that's a survivor thing.
Totally. No, that's a really good call out. And I think that kind of plays into my, like, as time went on, I stopped registering it. Mm-hmm. Because you start to, I think the movie does a better job of, the movie is now showing more elements of her and more drawn out components of her life. Because at first you're just seeing, you're being introduced to her the same way that all these characters are. Like, you're only seeing her brash upfront parts right away. Mm-hmm. And then as time goes on, you're experiencing her the same way that all these other characters are. So you start to kind of warm up and understand the parts of her that are underneath, and how it's I totally see it. It's and I do think that Molly is a great character that way, like the way that they portray her as being very different. Like, I'm sure she has her own life situation and she just handles it very differently. And the fact that she can kind of like, oh, I see what's happening. Mm-hmm. She can see her and understand it and see her for who she is, but also she's not spineless, right? Like, she has her own belief system. She's got her own moral code, and she sticks to it. And I just think that was such a good baseline friendship that you had to introduce into the story for any of the other stuff to work.
Yeah, I think the sad part is that we didn't get more character development with Molly.
I agree.
And got more of a background to see why they connected so well.
Yes. And that was the note that I had was, I'm like, interested in the development. Their development is just a 6 week later, like, bloop, like we got no, like that could have been, and I get why they didn't, because it really, the
it's
pacing
Nomi's story.
Yeah. And there is a certain amount of like the pacing and the theatrics of the show are itself kind of being the backbone, the visual backbone of the whole storyline. Like, I get why they had to do it that way, but those two would have been really fun to watch act off of each other in like a kind of one acty single invite, like just in the trailer house, kind of situation, and watch that develop. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to watch those two actors work together. Maybe with a little bit better writing. But
what I thought would have been cool, like to like expand that scene with Andrew Carver was, usually people that work within the hotels know all the back ways. Mm-hmm. And like she would have so the way I would have done it is she would like, I would have put up with the BS mm-hmm. with the show, waited until Molly got better. And then I would have been like, I would have let her in like one of the fire exits where the bodyguards weren't, mm-hmm. and Molly would have been in the room with me when I kicked the shit out of Andrew Carver, and she would have gotten to get her licks into it. And I think that would have been, a lot better to show how. Molly can overcome too, but again, it wasn't her story.
It wasn't, and I think the other pass I would give on that would be, Nomi was getting out of town.
Yeah, she was getting
out of town, so she was gonna do her avenging, and then leave town, and that was kind of
because they're like, she wasn't gonna stay for the aftermath or the repercussions of what. Right. Because they would have gone after her.
100%. Right. And also Molly was going to be sick for a while. Like, I think she was just like, I got to get out of town. Like, I can't live and do this show when I know that guy is on property. Right. And
part of the team.
Right. Part of the team. Right. Exactly. And so the idea of her being like, okay, well, I'm just going to go kick this guy's ass, tell her I did it, and then I'm going to bolt. which is sad because I think the sadness I have with that is, you know, she did something good for Molly, but like Molly is going to,
she's there
and she's going to come out of the hospital, and then she had this friend that was living with her for all this time is just gone. So, and I think that's part of Nomi's like thing, right?
Like,
she has to go. Like she can't get too attached. She has to keep moving. Otherwise that's a situation.
Or like you see like something later on where Molly's better and she receives the payoff or whatever, and then she gets a letter from Naomi, come join me or something.
Right.
Or like
something.
it's just kind of left there, and I think that's kind of sad.
It is.
But it's also I think it's also worth noting that it really kind of gets tiring, the whole women getting angry or overcoming something because of sexual assault. It gets really played out. But like her rage, like when she like superheroes it and like the fingernails, ponytails. She does like the bare minimum, and she, like the rage in that scene was like, it's incredible.
It felt genuine and not to your point, like not played out and not exaggerated. Like it was like it was brutal. It was exactly like the kind of like that is exactly how she felt, and you felt very much like, because a lot of times I felt like I was sort of like at odds with what Nomi was doing in the moment, and in that moment it's like I think they were expecting the whole audience to just line up with her on that, right?
Because everything up until that moment seems like really exaggerated and over the top, and I think in that moment we get the authentic character. We know this is who Nomi really is. Like all of that. There's all that, like the masking she puts on to get the parts and stuff like that, and the sex and like that, the wiles and stuff like that. But it's in this moment with the rage where she just kicks
core
shit out of him. It's not over the top. It's a very real scene, and
it's fast and brutal. Like it just is what it is.
She's just like,
and she's like, and I'm out. It's like he wants to sleep. And I'm like, fuck yeah, he does. That's great. Okay, jumping back up. Kyle MacLachlan, your hair. Fuck.
He had an emo face.
I wasn't ready. Okay. So my problem is I've seen Kyle MacLachlan in a few things, and one of them is How I Met Your Mother. And so that is going to be forever changed in my mind.
Mine was the original Dune.
Sure.
I saw it in the theater.
Oh man, we'll have to make that a group watch or something like that. Yeah, I need to. I have not seen the first one.
You have
the
to,
original
so
one.
like that's just not to sidetrack, but then Dune, then there's the sci-fi Dune, and now there's the new one.
The new ones,
like,
right.
That's going to be like a whole other
It's a whole adventure. No, and also sidetracks are very much welcomed on this podcast. That's how we roll here. Yeah. Oh, we were up to 15 titties by this point.
15 titties.
And I was just like, and we've already talked about this, but I'm like, ooh, our girl Nomi's a bit dysregulated at the moment, like, because she definitely like and I think you put a good perspective on this for me, kind of reflecting back on it.
Well, I think so we have to think about when the movie was made and how we didn't address those things back then. I mean, we're just talking about like the internet just kind of, I mean, if you think about it, the internet's very young. The 90s is when it kind of came out. Like everybody was on AOL.
Oh, do you remember AIM?
Yeah, AIM.
Hell yeah.
The rooms. Anyways.
Tell us the story about the rooms,
now
Sabra.
we're not going to talk about the rooms. Meeting strangers.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So obviously to us now, we can see that and be like, wow, she's obviously PTSD.
Yeah.
There's some triggering. There's like borderline personality disorder because of that. Like
definitely.
When she reacts and the fries, and I'm like, it's a manic.
Yes.
She's spiraling. It's a manic episode.
She's spiraling. It's an episode. Yep. Absolutely.
So, but
I think your borderline is a good call out.
Yeah. So, but you like, we don't see it through that lens when I watched it through the 90s. We're just like and there's going to be that typical, she's just crazy bitch out of control. Right. So now that we're here in 2025. Wow.
Isn't that
the
crazy?
movie is 30 years old.
That's so crazy.
I know. So,
I'm not going to tell you how old I was when it came out.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Don't do that.
No, thanks. Yeah.
But I think that's cool because we have that like
Yeah.
generational difference having this
No,
conversation.
absolutely.
So now we're like, we have all of this information about being like neurospicy and
Right.
complex PTSD and like spiraling that we can look at that now and go, yeah, she was absolutely dysregulated.
And it was, and you know, knowing that they didn't have, that no one was sitting there and psychoanalyzing it when they wrote the script and she was doing the performance, right? But it was, it's a very, to me, it feels like I have met people I went through art school for 4 years, right? And like, yeah, I mean, that was the vibe. Like that was I met a lot of people like that. I met a lot of people with borderline. I met, you know, and that was when you first met a lot of those people, that was the kind of front they put up. And those were the kind of outbursts they would have were very similar to that. And, you know, and of course, as I got to know some of them that I became friends with, then I learned that there was usually a reason for that.
the
there's
flair
usually
for
some trauma.
When people talk about like, oh, you're so dramatic. Well,
You're so dramatic.
That whole I don't want to be drama, and like that was a huge like hot button word in the 90s and 2000s, and it still is like drama queen, but like now we know that it's a reaction to a trigger.
Yeah.
And we're talking about people in entertainment, like any entertainment industry. Yeah. You are always like I can relate to the cat herding and like somebody who's produced events myself and stuff like that. High functioning personalities and like the dynamics and how they all like combat each other and stuff like that.
And having to manage those kinds of when they're discordant against each other to those different personalities, that's hard. Yeah. Oh God, they go to that club. Is it the same club they keep going back to, that Crave Club or whatever? Is that what it's called, Crave?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then we go in. I mean, there were a couple of 90s whiplash moments for me. Like, just...
the Dixie Cup.
Like, the fucking neon like lights in the background with that like... the best way I can describe it is bowling alley carpet patterns in the background of just like, oh man, it sent me to a place that I just had not experienced in a very long time. It was something else. It was something else.
That club in the strip mall over in St. Paul? It was of space themed, and
cool.
everybody went there all the time, and I was just like, I went in there once and I was like, oh, this is upsetting. I mean, I was a ground zero girl, so going to like a pop club was like
kind of weird. Yeah, sure. I went to no clubs because that's a lot of socializing.
That's right. You're like an introvert.
I am. I'm. You know, the thing that's funny is like I like people. I need a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm introverted, I guess, in the most classic sense of introversion, where it's just like I actually am sad when I'm away from people for a long time, but being around people actively uses my energy. Mm-hmm. So it's just the way it is. So being in a room of 300 people makes me lose energy very quickly, and it is not a way for me to recharge. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But I'm like there's just like kind of this. Did you get the sense that they kind of did at first I was like, does she cause chaos? No. Both chaos and resolution for her seem to kind of follow in her wake. Like she kind of does whatever, and it feels like it's like, wow, that was really, really unexpected. And then she ends up kind of landing on her feet kind of perpetually, which I thought was very interesting. And then she gives James Smith, she gives him, he wants a cup of coffee because she got him fired, quote unquote, even though he was the one that was, anyway, doesn't matter. There was some misogyny happening there. Mm-hmm. And then she and he's like the expectation, yeah, that's a good call out. And he's like, well, I want at least a cup of coffee. And she asks Molly, she's like, do you have a quarter? She's like, sure. She throws him a quarter. I'm like, oh my God. You could get a cup of coffee was 25 cents. Holy fuck.
So I went to Las Vegas in the 90s, and that's not wrong. You could, I can't remember if it's the Pancake House or, well, I mean, you talk about the strip like everything is pretty cheap on the Strip. So you like,
Sure.
a cup of coffee was 25 cents. But the idea like, and I think his character was pivotal to the whole, look what I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
You owe me. Like
Yeah.
I created this dance number for you, and I'm not getting paid for that. Well,
So
I didn't ask you to do
and
that.
I'm not getting paid. Like, but I owe you something. Like, yeah, that's
Women's free labor.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of like themes in that I think can be looked at now as like, wow.
right. But I also think that they did a good job of laying it out bare. And so to me, it didn't feel like it was that's just how it works. Toots. It didn't feel like that. It felt like, he kind of laid it out in that way. And she's like, what? And I think that was great. Like, I actually think that was one of the like strong suits of this movie, is it like really laid bare how ridiculous those expectations were. I don't know. It didn't age as badly as I would think it would, because it kind of showed it showed it pretty clearly how ridiculous it is.
Well, right, because one of the the writing wasn't all that great, but
No.
the research that they did to get this movie was like, they were really thorough. They interviewed like showgirls, strippers, producers.
Yeah.
And while this story itself isn't based on a true story, it's based on the information they gathered from actual Las Vegas and what goes on there, and the expectation, like, amongst the entertainers, like they're going to get away with stuff because they're all part of a team. That was like, what we're seeing is what back in the 90s is what actually went on.
No part of it to me felt it was obviously it was enhanced for film, right? But all of it felt like it really did come from a grounded place that existed. Like, every character, every situation, every location, it really did feel pretty real to me. Like, it felt very, and I'm just still shocked at how like desensitized, like, so you got like, I think some of the most poignant scenes were in the dressing rooms, because all this stuff was happening. Everyone was topless. Like, it was just that is not a thing you see in a lot of movies. When you're in a situation like that, and you're when you're in a dressing room scene in a show, it's usually like it's kind of not scandalous, but the movie is very much just like, hey, we're in the dressing room. Like, that's kind of the vibe. Whereas this is like, no, shit happens back there. The people are back there. Some got their wigs on, some got their wigs off. Some of them they're totally topless. Some of them are totally nude. Some, it's like, it's just a working set, a working theater. Like, that was, I don't think I've ever seen another movie that did that in that way, and with that level of talent, that level of scope, like, I don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's interesting because you get to see, like, it makes you have a huge appreciation for the women that work in Las Vegas and put on those shows.
100%.
Because of the, like, wow, they're not messing around. They get up on stage and they make it look so flawless,
effortless and
which is
light,
why,
and,
like, later on, I think it would be good for you to see, The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson.
Okay.
It shows how the showgirl scene in Las Vegas is kind of dying. The big
thing
headdresses,
and,
the beautiful costumes.
Right.
They're transitioning to like theatrical, like a lot of cirque shows.
Sure.
Or the hot and sexy shows. But it's more like theatrical, almost Broadway-esque type shows.
Right.
And it gets away from like the whole showgirl experience. So like,
sure.
What I think would be really cool is later on to like, it kind of, and it's funny because The Last Showgirl feels like it's almost a sequel 30 years later,
Right.
and this is what's happening now.
Right.
And so, it's really great. Her character I don't want to go into it too much, but she talks about like, everything she gave up to be a showgirl, because it was, you're a showgirl, like, I think it's 6 nights a week.
Oh God.
You don't get and it's not, you don't get
'cause
weekends off.
You're working other people's
Yeah,
off time.
Mondays are usually dark. Right. So you give up your weekends, you give up your love life. There's a lot of things that you give up, and you have to like look a certain way, and you have to keep up this thing.
Yeah.
And I really think Showgirls, like the behind the scenes stuff, shows like what women in that industry at that time had to endure.
Yeah.
The competitive nature of it, the cattiness, the pettiness behind it, but like also the one girl when I've got your back, you've got mine. Like there was some, and there's some tight, the relationships,
right,
and just like the overall chaos. And you're like, to me, and I'm like theater and stuff like that. You see that too, but like, wow,
it's got to be. It's a different level, and I have to assume that like Broadway is probably similar to that with like those big shows where you're doing, you know, like 10 shows a week or whatever it is, but the idea of and it's just a little bit different when you're. I think the Vegas scene just kind of amplifies all of those feelings even more. You know, backstage and those kinds of powder keg kind of environment you have back there.
And they're there by noon, but they're not performing until like 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
So they're like there
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh God. It is you really I think that is one of the biggest takeaways for me if I like close my eyes and think about the movie. It's that backstage area and just like how I could have probably watched 2 hours of just the shit that happened back there because it was crazy.
Exactly.
It was crazy.
That's actually kind of a neat idea for a movie where it's like all
the backstage stuff.
The backstage stuff.
I actually did a one act that my friend of mine wrote in high school at end of my senior year of high school. It was the name of the show was The Dressing Room, and the whole set was just the dressing room, and the show was happening backstage, and we would come out and everything that was happening was the in-between stuff where actors were coming out from being on the set. Most of the joke for us was that no one had any idea what the fuck show it was because it would be like, why is he wearing an outfit from like Oklahoma? And the next thing looked like someone was wearing like a little Orphan Annie wig.
I love that.
Yeah, it was so fun. And then all the crazy shit that was happening backstage. Yeah, it needs to get remade again, but better.
I wonder if you
time.
could do like a sitcom just around like
that concept.
The backstage.
I absolutely love pieces of media that are centered around a single space and with a lot of different movement through it, or people get trapped in it, or like I don't know if you watch much Archer. Do you remember the elevator episode where they all get stuck in the elevator for like a whole episode?
Oh God, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a breast cancer survivor, my favorite episode was the breast cancer. Treats breast cancer.
Holy shit, I forgot about those.
It's so great.
Yes, those are
when
so
my friends
good.
are in there with me just looking at me like I should be horrified. Like, this is great.
I love Archer. Archer is one of my... What was really funny, this is like a weird side tangent again, but after I watched Pulp Fiction, all I wanted to do was watch Archer. Because Archer is like, does all of the irreverent shit that Pulp Fiction wants to do, but Archer to me was just way more entertaining. Anyway,
like I
that
get
show.
that Pulp Fiction is like iconic and they do studies about it, but like,
I know it's
snooze.
There's a lot of things that are technically very good about it, and it did pioneer stuff that is being used today, but it doesn't mean that I have to think that I don't want to worship Quentin Tarantino over it. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she gets into the car. Sorry, she throws in the quarter. She gets into the car, and she has a fucking ring pop. And that, to me, is like the most 90s thing. I'm like, I forgot about ring pops. Like, that was... okay, 20 tits.
There's certainly a lot of layers to her personality. Like the hardcore... like biatch and like badass, and then like the just juvenile, like...
Yeah.
Ring candy licking. Oh, here I am.
And she flip-flops very quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Probably, hey, welcome. Trauma's back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, Hope. Hope I thought was actually a great character, and I'll tell you why. She was Nomi's counterpoint. She was like the yin to the yang of Nomi, in the sense that Nomi was like, no, I'm not buying this bullshit. I have my own, I've been around, I know what's happening, I know these things that people try to pull on me or whatever. And on the flip side, Hope is just like, what? Like, just has no agency. It's like it's like opposites, right? You've got all the agency in a way that maybe you weren't even used to seeing in a movie with a woman, and then the opposite. And you look at them together and they look like they're not even the same species. You know what I mean? It's so interesting and very sad, because it's too bad. Feels bad for Hope about that, but like I don't know. I thought that was actually one of the better pieces of writing that they did, is to have that kind of counterpoint in there. Fucking Al. I hate that Al cracked me up a little bit. I hate that he cracked me up, because he was a piece of shit, but it was really funny.
Well, he like acted the way, I think he's like, this is how I'm supposed to act as a guy who runs a strip club.
Right,
and then like there's the part, and then there was that really touching part where he's like, wow, you look good on it. But then he's like, oh, I have to break that. I don't want.
I can't leave this on a touching moment. I was like,
it
do
must
I
be
like
weird
Al?
that nobody wants to come on you. Like,
Right. Like,
you
Al.
like him. You're like, oh, he like. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, here's this redemption arc right here. Here's where you're like, oh yeah, and then right before he leaves, he's like, it must be weird that if nobody
nobody ends with no one coming on you. It's like, God damn it, Al. Just couldn't for a second have a touching moment, even though you like knew that's what was happening. Like, it was, I enjoyed him that way, because he was actually another one. I think you called this with Nomi, right? Like, all of the baggage is up front with Nomi, right? With Al, it's the same way. You walk in, he is at first really, really unappealing as a person, the way he presents himself, right? He's, get your tits up. Oh, he's just like, oh God, he's just such a misogynistic douche or whatever, right? And he's like, yeah, and if you stick around, you know, I'll guarantee you stick around if you blow me, right? All of his really gross shit at the beginning. And I think pretty quickly you start to realize that I don't think that he is actually like that in like at a deep level.
Well, again, the 90s. I think because that's the other thing too. Like, I think they showed you a moment of like, he touched her face.
Yeah.
There was intimacy there, and it showed you what happens when a man, like back in the 90s, what was typical. What happens when a man like lets down his guard and shows some vulnerability? Yeah. He has to like man up again and make some dumbass statement and like blow it. And it's like, so women who watch this were like me, I'm like, yep. That's it.
That is so not and I don't think my dad ever listens to this podcast, but anyway, hey Dad, if you're here, he was never that guy. I grew up with, I will not all, but most of the men close to me in my life growing up. That was just not. I mean, there was some emotional distance, like certainly, like not my parents specifically, but other members of my family. But like the having to hitch back up the man thing was not really part of our deal. Like, that was just not what we did. And I didn't really, and so it was a little jarring when I like started existing in the world, especially like, you know, when I was like in middle and elementary school, you know, like I think that was when I was like, oh, I guess this dude thing is different than I thought it was.
And if you think about it, look at all the male characters in this movie. None of them are redemptive.
No.
Because when the Smith, him and Penny are going to get married because she got pregnant.
Only because she got pregnant, right?
Right, and he's all like, "That's what I'm supposed to do," and then he's like, "Go get me a drink, bitch."
Right, it was like, what
and Nomi's like, "Man, I really dodged a bullet there."
Right?
Yeah,
yeah, good work there.
So
yeah,
like with Al, he's like, you're like, oh, it's this beautiful moment of intimacy, and then he blows it. None of them, like, you can't count on any of the men in this movie.
I will say this, though. I think that Al and I can't think of, there's Kyle MacLachlan's character, one of the other kind of top guys at Mr. Prick, whatever. Couple
the producer.
Of the producer, yeah. There's kind of another yin to yang on that. I feel like Al, even though he ends it with a stupid cum line, God damn it, he actually cared.
I think he did.
He did. And so I think and you compare that with the others who are much more at the beginning, especially Kyle MacLachlan's character, very like smarmy and like, oh man, you're just great. I'm so like, he just like acted very supportive and very open. And as it developed, you watched the creeping misogynistic man kind of exude like from, and not just, you know, like, I mean, obviously he was sexualizing her, but like that's not the problem. It was like he's part of the family. You start to see the shit where she's not getting prioritized at the end, whereas I think that in Al's world it was a little bit, he probably wouldn't have handled it the same way.
Right. And here's the cool thing. So like in a strip club, the Henrietta, when the person came back and said there's somebody your name, your mother out front.
Your mother out front, yeah.
That's her position within the strip club, is they're referred to as house mothers. They kind of they're the cat herders.
Right.
And they make sure people they make sure that there's snacks and hydration and stuff like that. In this case, Henrietta was also the MC for the girls, and like a character within herself as well.
Right.
So, so that was kind of cool. And so them coming together, right? It's the mother and the father figure. Yep.
In the end, they were the ones that actually cared.
They showed up for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went to her.
They showed up for her.
They showed up for her. And he said that you looked really good up there with that I'm very proud of you father thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of, and that was, I think that was probably one of, to me, like the most touching moment in the movie in a way. Like he was like, like he kind of started like, you look good out there, kid. Like he was trying to like do, and then he kind of dropped it. Like he kind of, like he was fully vulnerable for, like you said, 35 seconds. But, you know, like that moment was there and Henrietta was there and you just knew that she wouldn't let anyone take any shit for her girls, right? Like that would, like she was on it, right?
Yeah.
And like there was just this wholesomeness about, you know, this little world that they had that had its own issues, but was kind of, they liked her, you know?
Well, yes, like they end up being like, and that's something about the industry, especially in clubs where, especially if the girls have been dancing and they've been with each other for a long time, it ends up being a family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A very dysfunctional family,
totally.
But a family.
It would have to be a little bit,
like, yeah.
But yeah, it was just and I also think that I liked that the movie portrayed that in the 90s about a strip club. Do you know?
Yeah.
I got a
Cheetahs was actually an actual strip club in Las Vegas.
Cheetahs was? Okay.
Yep, huge.
Okay. Yeah, it was, I don't know. It gave me a very like warm, wholesome, fuzzy feeling about a strip
movie
club.
that you were like supposed to.
I don't know. Like this movie was just an emotional whirlwind for me. Yeah. We're gonna have to blast through these notes because we're actually covering a lot of this stuff as we go already. I liked Queen of Bazooms. That was great, Henrietta. Thank you. 21 boobs at this point.
Gina Gershon's unrequited
love for her. My God. Ooh, that was. It's kind of scary. Like a little bit, like it was a little, and I think it made it interesting because it felt a little predatory, especially at the beginning. Before Nomi was able to kind of get her agency kind of under her for this, you could tell that Gina Gershon's character, what's her character's name? Oh my God, help me.
Yes, Cristal.
Thank you.
Cristale. Cristal, like amazing. The champagne.
Yes,
yeah.
Perfect. So Cristal is at first clearly has a power advantage over Nomi, right? Nomi's working at Cheetahs. You know, she immediately catches an eye, and I really, really appreciate the casting of Gina Gershon in this role because she is kind of terrifying in the beginning, like especially like as it develops in the beginning. Like she's got this very predatory stare when she's watching Nomi. Like Cristal is like staring at her, and it's like predatory. Like I'm like, you in danger, girl. Like kind of like that's the vibe, right? And she does a really good job of that. And at first, I didn't really understand what her game was in the beginning.
She was watching herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because in the end, that's what she
That's what
says.
she was
She's
doing.
like, oh yeah, how do you think I got where I was?
Where I
John?
am. Like it's sort of like autoerotic in a way for her. And I think that that was made very clear by the lap dance, the private show, you know, because you see her over in the corner and she's in, and you start to reframe it back as you look back later. You're like, oh, she was just wanted to watch herself do that. You know? Yeah, it was very, very interesting. Yeah. Okay. So I couldn't tell if she was if she was in love with Nomi or had this like love for Nomi, or it was kind of more sort of a projection.
I like to think that I mean, it wasn't healthy, but I think it was love again, because it like Showgirls touches on like topics. It's an LGBTQ topic, right? So, being bi for the male eye, right? So being bi for the male eye, like the way like the performers would make out with each other on stage, like the even towards the end where they had where they were dressed in like the BDSM outfits and you're come on slave right before she pushes her down the stairs. To me, it's how like it wasn't mainstream really to be out yet. I mean, and it's funny because I worked at the saloon at the time. So I'd see gay and lesbian couples all the time.
Right.
And so, and there's a lot of queer theme within the movie. And I think I like to think that she was in love with her, but she was more in love with herself. It was like that because every time Nomi felt she was going to connect with her, because she like she clearly was like she was like, oh, like with Molly when they first met, she's like, are you hitting on me?
Right.
And she was like, she was okay with it.
Right.
And so like there were the times where her and Gina Gershon would have what Nomi believed was an intimate moment, and Gina Gershon would blow it because it's that theme where women will continue to hold up for their own survival. They'll hold up patriarchy. Right. And so when Gina Gershon feels like, especially when she's still in the show, she still has to protect herself. It's a survivor thing. Right. But at the end, she didn't have to anymore. She's like,
I'm done.
I needed the rest, darling. My lawyers made sure I got a great settlement. Right. And then she was like, you just going to give me a big kiss before you go? Like, I think that was the moment where she's like, I get to feel that love for at least a moment. And let her know that was there.
Yeah, that was a very interesting relationship, how that kind of like it kind of ended that way, where it was sort of like the pretense of having to hold yourself into that position was gone, and that was sort of the thing that was kind of, to your point, was kind of keeping them from not having like a friendly relationship. Right. Like it was gonna always be a problem because of the nature of the beast.
Well, I mean, and it's part of like how men like to control women. They put us in positions of competition against each other. It's a form of divide and conquer. So when women are when men put women in that position, we won't blame men. We'll blame each other. Mm-hmm. And one of the coolest things I heard recently, like if we all realized, if everybody understood that we all had the same oppressor.
Right? Right? Holy shit.
They would be
it's private
more
equity.
Control. Exactly. So, I mean, it's kind of cool but again, back in the 90s, nobody understood those theories and those ideas. And now that we can start seeing those things more now, it's really great to look back on that and go, oh, wow, this was kind of that theme.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I don't know. It's deeper. It's deeper than I was expecting.
See, yeah.
Oh God. Okay, so that whole lap dance scene, by the way, was super intense. really crazy. We're up to 30 titties at this point.
30 titties.
30 titties. We got vaginas. That's happening now.
Yep.
That was a thing.
And C-17.
Hashtag I am a prick. That was, what's his name, Mr. Moss. That was quite a vibe. Did not like him at all.
Yeah.
Yep. He was awful. Pinch him a little like that. Okay. Let's talk about that for a second. The whole sequence of kind of like him sort of saying, I don't know, it was almost like it was businessy until it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? When he was talking,
she was being defiant, and gosh, yeah, and that's really kind of funny because I've always had like. That's
that
part
reaction.
of being on stage with your top off is like nipples. They like erect nipples. It's part of
the show.
It's part of the show. So like,
right.
and you want to be in this show and you want to be a showgirl in Vegas.
Right. It's not an unreasonable expectation.
It's not an unreasonable request.
And
she treated it like it was. And it's like,
did you think that Mr. Moss handled it especially badly for her? Like, I know he was a little creepy at the end, but but at the same time, it was sort of like, hey, you want some ice? Do something. I think there was, to me, this was the time where I started to feel like she had a very specific set of trauma that was causing these reactions, because it was like there would be little things that didn't feel commensurate to the input of that she was reacting to. And that was one of those where I'm like, yeah, it was kind of uncomfortable, but you've been doing lots of uncomfortable stuff this whole time. Why now? Like, why is this the thing that's making you like freak out? Right? Like, why are them being like, hey, can you pinch your nips a little bit? Like, why was that the moment you're like, no, I'm fucking done. I'm done. Like, I don't know. I just found it really interesting. Like, I feel like there should have been like
she was a stripper at Cheetahs.
Right. That's my,
and like now which is peanuts compared to what she's getting paid to be in a show.
Okay, I do actually have a theory on this, because remember how she kept trying to tell Cristal that she's like, no, I'm not a stripper, I'm not a prostitute, like whatever her line was that she was always
I'm not a
whore. And she's like, was that her worrying that was what the portray, like she's like, I'm gonna be a showgirl. It's like, well, you're still showing your tits. Like, that is like, it's not like, yeah, you're not gonna do lap dances, but like it's not a different, was that her reaction?
I think it's the denial thing, because we later find out that she was busted for solicitation a few times,
right?
And I'm not a whore, I'm not a whore. It's like
but like yeah.
And I somebody who has worked in the adult, as somebody who, like, I was a pro dominatrix and stuff like that. I've worked in the sex industry, and like the whole, I'm not a whore, and the whole whorephobia thing about that word. And it's like reclaiming it from what it's what it's meant as. And like, you create a sexual, you create a sexual desire for money.
Yeah. Right. And there was actually a line that I called out that James had later. I'm trying to find it. They pretend they want something else and you still give them tits and ass. That's the line that he had that I thought was kind of lined up with her reaction, because she, like, in her head was like, no, like I'm this is a new class of thing. I'm a showgirl. I'm dancing. I'm a dancer now. Right. And his line was something to the effect of like, before you just gave them tits and ass because that's what they wanted, and now everyone that's going to this show is pretending they're looking for dancing, but what they really want is tits and ass. Like, and it's sort of like that's sort of like I think her internal thought process when she has that reaction. It's like, oh no, you're focusing on what my nipples look like. Shit, like I'm back to where I was.
But all he wants is tits and ass too, because like the whole
exactly.
like, I'm not like them, I'm different, while I'm sticking my hand down your pants and grabbing onto your tits, and want you to perform this dance with me that shows your tits and ass. Like, you're no different. You're just trying to like sugarcoat it a different way to make yourself sound better. Like, better. And that, again, that we're back to that. None of the men in this movie they're all garbage.
There's never meet a man.
Al almost
had a moment.
But he ends up making a garbage comment.
No,
because he didn't like his vulnerability or intimacy being exposed.
He Al could get a little bit of therapy and maybe he'd make some movement, but I think the other guys are all fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Moss did have one line that was fucking awful, and that was, "I'm erect, why aren't you erect?" That was a bad line. That was not good. It worked for the moment, but it was like, ew. This is ostensibly a professional establishment. Let's see. That's a lot of tongue. I wrote that a few times where I'm like, they're using a lot of tongue.
Really porn sloppy kisses.
Sloppy kisses.
That's
Yeah.
what they are. It's like,
38 tits. We're up to 38 now.
38 tits.
What was it? Wait, how did Versace? That's what it was. I did spell it out, and I was like, how did she say that?
Moment where Kyle MacLachlan's character comes back and he's just said, it's Versace, and he did it in a way that wasn't like, he wasn't a snob. And he was like, he just turned around and he was like, oh no, it's Versace. No, it's Versace. And she was like, oh
fuck,
like, yeah. He goes, but the dress looks great on you. And you think, oh,
maybe he's not a shitty person.
Right. And then he does that sticking up for her. And then it's after that phone call when he calls Phil back and goes, get your fucking ass back. Like, oh, he's a douche.
Yeah.
So like almost every male character you're like almost hopeful for. Like, it starts out in the beginning with the guy in the truck. He's like, he gives her money to go gambling. And you're like, oh, that's cool. He's kind of looking out for her.
Right.
And he goes, I'm just going to go talk to my uncle. And then he bails.
Right.
So like, it's with every character, you're almost hopeful.
Right.
Like the guy that comes in and goes, you're beautiful. Here's my card. We want to see you dance.
Right.
He ends up being like a total turd.
Yeah. No, every single man will disappoint you in this movie. That is a Sabra and Ian guarantee. Enjoy. Al, I still have a special place in my heart for Al, which I was not expecting, but I think he is the closest one to being a person.
Don't throw Mama from the tray. Like I love that actor. I don't think there's ever a part that he's played where he's a good guy. And
plays Al.
Yeah. And I think every movie that I've seen him in, he has that moment.
Really?
Where it feels like he's
almost,
but then he just ends up being a total sleaze bucket.
God damn it. He's great. Honestly, I will say the writing isn't amazing, but I really thought the acting was pretty good. Overall.
Right? And then you get some movies where the writing is incredible, but the
acting is just bleh, yeah.
Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. Anyways.
I have so many thoughts I'm not going to say. That's going to be for the Patreon. There's no Patreon yet. Pretending. Okay, so let's see. So there were it was dense. This show is dense in terms of
really
like
quick
bits.
interrupt.
Yeah.
Robert Davi. He's the guy who played Al.
Okay.
Actor.
He's great. Yeah. Definitely. He's got like such a memorable face. My note I literally had for when he did the freaking cum line at the end, I was just like, Jesus, Al. That was what I wrote.
Have you ever seen Goonies?
Yes.
Okay.
Is he in Goonies?
Yeah, he's one of the brothers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he has moments in there about his mother, right?
Right. Why did I say God, yeah.
Don't throw Mama from the train? It's because the woman who was in it wasn't it. But he's the Goonies villain.
Shit, you're right. No, I have seen him in something. That's great. It's been so long since I've seen the Goonies. The full-on sex scene in the pool was wild. That was something else.
Really like graphic and like flailing and like quick. And it's realistic. It's a realistic version of like how fast sex actually goes.
I love that. In the ways it's not like porn, is it actually doesn't take very long. I just have two notes in a row. Oh shit, she tripped her. Oh shit, she pushed her. And then at the end when she gets the role and then how did that work? Oh, and then she does the same press junket, and the press junket uses exactly the same people and exactly the same words. Mm-hmm. That was really funny. I enjoyed that kind of a circle around. We kind of talked about the Andrew stuff, but I do have to say that was a profoundly affecting scene for me with Molly. And Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Carver?
Andrew Carver.
Yeah. That was affecting. That was really made me hurt, like to watch.
It's, oh man, it's, hard.
Yeah.
It's one of the most graphic
Yeah.
like graphic sexual assault
Assault scenes,
scenes that
yeah.
I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, because I think the only other one that ever got me really good was the one was it Rob Roy? Jessica Lange's character.
Okay.
But it's
It was hard.
it's hard because
hard to
she
watch.
was so like, oh my God, I get to have
Right.
sex with somebody that I've like idolized and
forever. Yeah.
and it just ends up
And
being a fucking
And
nightmare,
she's
and it was so graphic.
so graphic. Oh, it was so graphic. It was just like it made. It was awful. And then, and it's Molly, you know, like, and it's Molly to watch that happen all the way through.
I struggle. So the one thing about this movie that I struggle with is that the two main women of color in this movie are violently hurt.
Well, it is the 90s.
Dancer, and I
Don't be any person of color in the 90s. My God.
during Hollywood. So it's
Right.
one of the
You're right. No, that's a really good point. 'Cause, you're right. God, both get hurt.
Yeah.
Jesus.
but it is one of the most
Yeah.
it's disturbing.
It's disturbing. And
I didn't warn you about it. I apologize.
no, you know what? Fair. Whatever. I think that's my thing is blood. So for me it was
Oh yeah,
it was fine. And honestly that was all pretty quick. And it wasn't super it was fine. And it was, but it was actually, it wasn't fine. It was traumatizing, but it wasn't like a specific trigger for me.
Yeah, it's one of the roughest sexual assault.
If you aren't a little bit traumatized by it, you probably have a problem. Like it's very affecting.
And I think the rage response to it was like, it wasn't just like, oh my God, he did this to my friend. It was, I introduced her.
Right. No, I feel some culpability. I put them
there
in the
was
same.
guilt. I put them in
Yeah.
the same room together. I saw them leave together. They looked like she was like, yeah, she's gonna have a good time. And then
Right.
the horror.
Oh God. Yeah.
And then obviously finding out we all want you to just get on board. We're all on the same team. We all have to cover for each other.
The cops aren't coming.
So her rage, and it was great. It wasn't just anger. It wasn't just anger.
Right.
It was full on female justifiable fucking rage. And I
she
know
had a plan.
Every woman, I just think every woman should see this movie for that end part, because every woman has felt that. Mm-hmm. They might have not acted on it,
Right.
but every woman has felt that rage.
Right.
And especially now.
Yeah. Yeah.
With everything that's going on in the world. But
no, it's
I think we need more Nomi Malones in the world. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
no, it was a movie that fully took me by surprise.
I'm glad. I'm so glad about that. It's cool.
And also one thing to call it on the assault scene, from a tech perspective, from a film guy, the cutting between her in the party and Molly in the scene with Andrew was awful. Like it made it so much more galling to cut between the calmness and them dancing out on the thing and then cutting back to what she was experiencing. Like that, like kind of dichotomy was
and then
really
they go
good
back
editing.
to it.
And they go back to it, like back and forth.
Like everybody's partying.
It was just
Nomi's in her
that was
like, I've made it, I'm here,
Right.
and then the slow the horror that comes across her face when
she comes back
when
in.
Molly comes.
That was honestly, the movie was really well shot and really well edited. Like I'll put that out there right now. Okay. So then at the very end, she's hitchhiking again because she's getting out of town. Same fucking Temu Austin Butler comes up again and takes
Temu Austin Butler.
I don't know what else to say. That's the only thing I can
Someday
think of.
Austin Butler's going to hear this.
God, I hope not. Or maybe I do. I don't know. And then, then they take off, and she's got the switchblade back out again, and they take off heading towards LA. And,
LA.
And that's
which
so good.
Is interesting because like everybody who wants to be a star, right? And a lot of this, a lot of critics claim that this was a satire on like A Star Is Born. Like
okay.
the I'm gonna be somebody, and usually when
Right.
people have that, it's typically I'm going to LA because I'm gonna be an actor.
Right.
But she went to Las Vegas first, and now her next stop's gonna be Los Angeles. So we don't, and it's there wasn't a Showgirls 2.
Right.
I didn't know that there was a documentary made about this,
Yeah,
so I'm actually gonna watch that.
Yeah. No,
I'm very
curious.
excited about it, and I really love like in the beginning the actors who played these parts were like not too long after they were like, oh, it's so cringe, but now they're like Kyle MacLachlan. I read he at first thought it was like a stain on his career.
Okay.
And now he's like, now that he sees how it's gotten, like it's considered, it's got a second audience and it's a cult classic. He can appreciate how it's how it's viewed now and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool. And like Elizabeth Berkley a month ago, she's like, I have the makeup kit for Nomi's lips and eyes. And we're like, you go, girl.
I love it. No,
Now she needs to put out like the press-on nails,
Right.
the Nomi Malone
The
press-on
nails.
nails. I think would be perfect.
It was.
I
it
love
was
that
great.
she's embracing it.
I think that it's the kind of movie that's gotten enough time in the rearview mirror and enough understanding to make it to what it was. I think what I got out of it, I think was what the production wanted out of it, right? I think that what I got out of it was what the director wanted, what the actors wanted to get out of it. But I think in its own time, I don't think that it was probably by the general public, not by people that understood what it was doing, but the general public probably didn't know what to do with it because it was an NC-17 film to general audiences. Like, that's crazy. And it was lots of tits. You saw all of the stuff, right? Super shocking.
Elizabeth Berkley just lets it all
let it all out.
And, I mean, she's statuesque. She
For
like
real. Right.
You cannot like it's beautiful. Like we went
hot
from
as
like
fuck.
Jessie Spano, Saved by the Bell, Good Girl to like Nomi Malone, and you're like,
what the fuck?
And I love how she just like. I think that was her in her character.
Yeah.
Like she saw all of the nudity and stuff that she'd be doing instead of like, I didn't get the sense that she felt wheezy about it. Like she was like, I'm going to be Nomi Malone and I'm going to embrace this character.
Right.
And the world is going to see my beautiful, like she's art. She's like,
oh yeah.
She's like what Roman statues look like. Right.
Yeah.
So
she's
goddess.
She's goddess.
Goddess. She is goddess.
And she is like sort of intimidatingly attractive. Like it's like, oh God. Like,
when you see pictures of her now and she's like in her 50s and she's got like, obviously being a celebrity, she has access to better skincare and stuff like that. But she has these, like, she's still got these beautiful doe blue eyes and they're big and her skin is beautiful and she's still stunning.
God. And Gina Gershon looks pretty good too. I Googled them up.
Can we just say she's the? I'm just going to put this out there now. Gina Gershon's the '90s, the original '90s resting bitch face diva icon. She is like
she does.
She can smile and stuff, but like
she serves face in a way that I don't think I don't know that there has been I don't know that there's been, and it's weird that she has
Sophia Loren.
If
you look at Sophia, like if you look at when Sophia Loren and like Marilyn in the old picture where they're sitting next to each other.
Okay.
That's who Gina Gershon reminds me of is Sophia Loren.
Okay.
And I believe that she is Italian blood too, but Bound we'll have to watch Bound where her and Jennifer Tilly they just go at each other in a really hot way.
Even though she stole Val Kilmer's mouth, I think she still looks pretty good. No, I don't mean to be weird about it, but like it is interesting. Like, but at the same time, like it it makes I feel like we've got very homogenized looks now in Hollywood, and I do miss these like really striking people.
Character. Yeah, Jennifer
Yes.
McTilly. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Gina Gershon.
Even, I mean, honestly, even
Elizabeth Berkley.
Yes, she even is striking
Very
in a way
long
that's
face.
Yeah,
Very tall.
yeah.
Unusually, like I said, like look at how tall she is. She's as tall as her male counterparts. And
Yeah.
in some instances, if you looked, I think in heels she was taller than Kyle MacLachlan.
I bet.
And that's not seen a lot.
No.
So
I know.
she reminds me of Tricia Helfner, who played. She was the new Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
I hate it that you haven't seen some of this stuff. So the new Battlestar Galactica, Tricia Helfner is not 9. She's one of the humanized Cylons. She's a Cylon.
She's a Cylon. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Not 7 of 9, because that's Star
not
Trek.
7 of 9.
Yeah.
But
I do know that.
That's a good. I mean, if you
what's
think
her
about it, Jerry
Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got that. She's very statuesque.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime anyone ever describes any woman as statuesque, all I can think of is Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, Tricia Helfner. Just.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And when like her, hold on, if we find. There we go. Image. This is the iconic.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
her as a Cylon.
Oh, okay.
She
Wow.
and her the guy that plays her boyfriend in the show is Gaius Baltar, and he's like 5'6", and
Short
so it
king.
always looks he's a British actor. He's yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's Elizabeth Berkley, and you don't get to see a lot of like really tall, statuesque women in shows because of how it makes their male counterparts feel.
But as a dancer, no problem. That's exactly what you want. No, that's so cool. Okay, so at the end of the episodes, we rate the film out of 5 stars by using four categories. I'm not counting it right now. A couple different categories. We rate them, all those categories out of 5. We average them, and that's what I put into the Letterboxd app as my official review for the show. Okay. So our first category is production design. Honestly, it's kind of perfect. Like, there's nothing like to complain about really with production design.
Well, I think the one thing we commented on was the fact that every time they showed them up on stage, they showed a different part of the show. So we got to see a show within a show because we got to see what takes place in Goddess. Yeah. So we got to see different elements of that show. And so there was different costume changes and different dances and these beautiful performances. So I think that's cool.
I agree.
So and it was cool how they did that.
Right. Yeah.
Because we got to see an elaborate show.
Super elaborate, and all the different parts, and you always felt like you wanted to see more of it. And and you got to see a couple of the scenes twice with both Gina Gershon and it was crazy.
In the beginning, it was Gina Gershon that comes up as the goddess, and then at the end, it's Elizabeth Berkley that comes out as the goddess. So it was cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
But you get to go through the entire show first.
Yes,
before you see.
Right.
So
yeah.
And that was incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, and then beyond even just that one component of the movie, you've got it. I think it was shot really well. The editing was really clean. The set and costume designs were really good outside of that. It was good. The music was really fun. Like one part that took me out of it was during the sex scene in the pool. That was like definitely sounded like Tron. I'm like, Wendy Carlos, what are you doing here? Like, it was really weird. But other than that, it was it was great. I'm gonna recommend a 5 stars for production design.
Awesome. I'm on board.
All right, story. I think this is probably its weakest. But at the same time, I don't think that the core premise of the show is bad. I don't think it's I don't think it's fundamentally flawed as the story. I think that some parts of it didn't age as well as others,
90s.
90s, yeah, that's 90s energy. So I think that I would like to say probably like a 4
Oh, I was thinking you were going to do 3.
You think so? I mean, and I don't know. Like I struggle with this one. I might bump back to a 3.5. I don't know. I might do a 3.5. I'm trying to. The dialogue and some of the side characters were not well written. Especially like for example, the character of James. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like the
movie still would have been
the movie
without that storyline.
Without that storyline, and like just I don't know. And this might just be me, and maybe I'll cut this if I don't like it later. But I felt like it was just doing a black man dirty. Do you know?
That's a really good way of putting it.
You know, I just feel like, why'd you have to do that? Like you could have made him do anything. You could have include. He was a good actor. You could have made him do anything else, but you made him have a sex addiction and was trying to write the song for all the like. It was. I don't know.
There was still the entitlement there. Like, I wrote this for you. You owe me.
You
or
owe
like,
me, yeah.
I'm not getting any money. Or like, you shake your tits and ass. I'm different than them. But he's still like trying to get into her pants. And she's like, I only do that with people that I love.
Right. Yeah. It was, to me, it felt kind of incongruous with some of the rest of it. So I'm gonna say 3.5. 3.5. Performances, I would say performances were pretty good. I think that I go through my Rolodex of characters because there's a ton of actors in this movie. It's a big cast. And everyone was on. It always looked good. Everyone was serving the whole time if they were like on stage or they're backstage. It felt lively. It felt good. I would say probably about like a 4.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for what they were given,
right,
and the character development
where available,
what like everybody played the part that they were supposed to play. They weren't given writing. I think there's some parts where they could have like I wouldn't have closed the door. I would have walked out and said, "You close the door yourself, bitch." Right. And at least she would have gotten some ownership back there. But then Crystal tells her what to do, and she actually did it. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done it that way.
Right.
Because Nomi's her own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even her name,
but also
Nomi.
Nomi. I also do feel like Nomi also though had sort of like this weird kind of like toxic attraction.
Oh yeah.
To Crystal. Like there was I sometimes felt like that she kind of got her to do things.
It was an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
It was absolutely an abusive relationship. Sure. The codependency, going back thinking things are going to change, and like Nomi lets down her guard thinking Crystal's being serious and this is going to go somewhere, and then Crystal's like, no, I don't think so. Close the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh,
no,
it's
absolutely.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating. Yeah.
But I think that I agree with you in the 4.5. Like it's not like an epic movie where you're like, oh my God, the acting, everything. You just
right.
But like at this part, like the actors were given these scripts and they like went with it. And I think Elizabeth Berkley did an amazing job playing this like multi-layered, crazy hard ass.
Yeah. I liked it.
Like the different personalities that you saw, I think she gets a 5.
Totally. And the way that she can like every outfit she wears, she has a different personality for that outfit.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. Yeah. It was super cool.
So 4.5 is really good.
Our last one is one of the most interesting, and the last one is cultural impact. So cultural impact is kind of a because almost everything that we watch in this podcast is old, probably at least 10 to 15 years old, right?
Right.
So we have this luxury of time to go back and look and see how things aged and how society has embraced or not embraced the story or the media or like how it was taken in. And this one is interesting to me because I don't know anything. I had never heard of the movie until you told me about it. So to me, that does not indicate a lot of adoption in, wider society. Like, I don't think it has this big cultural zeitgeist that it exists in the world. But on the flip side, it does have a cult following.
A documentary was now I'm gonna have to watch that. Yeah. And then the Guardian article that I found where like this whatever crappy movie actually made there was merit to it.
And
I think And it's because, you know, and Gen X is a really good example of this. Like we grew up with, you know, Zach and Jesse and like Bud and all those guys. And like, it was our high school thing. And then all of a sudden the good girl, Elizabeth, ends up being in this like hypersexualized movie. And I think people saw it for the sexuality, but they didn't
see what was
they
underneath
didn't see it for like
That's
the dimensional. It's so dimensional and so good. But I was very self-aware at a very young age. So I saw the dimension and I saw the importance and I saw how this Naomi Malone is a feminist icon. And she didn't even know it. Right. She's a feminist icon and she didn't even know it. And I saw the cultural importance. Now I think that's what we're talking about now that it's made there's a second
just kind of
audience and like how people can go back and look at it and go, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is I can't.
It could have a bigger impact if.
It was a movie that was ahead of its time. It was a movie that had a story to tell, but the world that it released into, for a couple of different reasons, that some of which you already called out, like you've got an actress who's coming off from being the goody two shoes character, kind of adolescence character, moving into being a role where she shows her full vulva to an audience. That is going to show a shock factor that will distract people from the point that the movie was telling.
Well, yeah, and you have to think about what's going on, right? Now when a great movie comes out, people are talking about it all over the internet and all over Facebook and all. And when this came out, the internet just started.
Right.
And like we're talking like 1995. I still want to
hear about your chat rooms. No, I'm sorry.
30 well, chat rooms.
I'm not paying attention.
30 years. The internet is a baby.
Right.
And so we didn't get like AOL you didn't have a face page where you could brag about it. You could go in other rooms and talk to people through Messenger, but there wasn't there was no social media.
Right. MySpace wasn't out yet. Yeah.
I think if that movie came out now and there was some tweaking in the writing, I think it would be considered controversial yet.
Right. It would have been irreverent.
Thought-provoking
and irreverent. Like people would have had a totally different thought process about
there would have been fights, like, so especially now with like swerfs and like trans exclusive radical feminists and sex worker exclusive radical feminists. They would have been like up in arms about that.
Right.
I think I love Henrietta, the mother, but all I can think of is how Divine would have been a great
yes,
a trans woman in that part would be perfect.
Well, that was one of the, like, my one complaint. So this is a side tangent. The movie adaptation of the show Chicago. I love that movie adaptation. I really like it. Do you not?
You're good to mama. It's one of my favorite songs to belt out in the car.
It's so good.
I'm pretty good at it. Not Queen Latifah, but I think I'm pretty good at it.
That's a high bar to try to set to.
It is true.
And I love like anyway, that's a very fun and queer coded show. And anyway, but I still think that the one complaint I have, and to be fair, I can't think of her name. So the Mary, like the Miss Sunshine, the reporter Christine Baranski plays her. That's supposed to be a drag performer in like the stage show. Mm-hmm. Generally is what they do, is it's supposed to be a drag performer. Now, Christine Baranski is a little bit drag persona-y anyway in some of the roles she has, but like that's like the one complaint I have about it. But anyway, but yes, you're right. Like Henrietta should be in drag.
Right. And
100%.
So, and the cool thing about like if that was released, I mean, you're talking about back in the 90s where queer culture was a party, like the saloon in the 90s. It was a party. We were just because I consider myself a queer woman. We were just starting to like talk about rights and stuff like that. And this movie has a lot of queer themes, like the situation on the stairs with the gay performers and the homophobia that's there.
Yeah.
And I think if this movie was done now, there would be an opportunity to like really hit some
points.
I think it would be culturally explosive now and
Yeah.
thought provoking, and it would raise conversations. But I don't know if it should be redone.
No, actually, and I'm
I would
thinking
probably
about it
be
now. is
angry
like-
if it was.
Well, and the story, a new show should be written, and I think new shows are being written that follow similar lines, because, like, to your point, the last Showgirl just came out. That showed this world kind of doesn't exist the same way anymore, right? So I think that's part of it. We've got
It. You're right, and it's the showgirl scene doesn't it's
work.
dying. It's
Yeah. So I think that personally, I felt like this movie in its current state needs some disclaimers. Not everyone can just jump in and watch it. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not, NC-17 is very much warranted in this situation. But I think that if you're looking for something kind of edgier to tell, like a kind of take you on a journey with someone that maybe you don't know a lot about. In my case, I didn't have any connection to understanding what Nomi's deal was, but I think that I had a real adventure going through this experience with her, right? Like that was interesting to me. It was an interesting story, and it sensitized me to a world that I just had never really thought about before.
So do you understand now why I say this is the perfect junk food?
It is. Well,
Yep.
but that's the thing, though, is it's like
Maybe it's not
but
junk
it's
food.
not junk food. I don't think it's junk food at all. I actually think that it's like going to a freaking art gallery. Like it's something to think about. It is something, for me, it's something that I think about that I hadn't really thought about before, and that's what I think art is supposed to do. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
so touched that you had these reactions to this movie. It makes me, and because it also because I say it for the longest time, it's junk food is junk food, but then rewatching it with somebody, with you, and getting to see it through somebody else's eyes, there's
Right.
a lot of relevance there that were important to me as a woman.
Yeah.
And how I developed and my attitude and my badassery and
This is a film
Makes me
that
feel seen.
told me, no, and genuinely, it's a film that told me a lot about you, because it's something that told me that it's a movie that you have a connect, I can start to map, it tells me something, not literally, not biographically, but it's something kind of energy wise that I can kind of map across, and it gives me more understanding, and I love that about art. That is my favorite thing, is because you learn about people in a way that's pretty much based around emotion.
yeah, that's why I can't wait to do these other movies with you, because
Yeah.
it's not oh, I really loved it because it was a big movie and blah blah blah.
No, yeah. That's why I like this podcast.
connected with these movies in a way I love these movies because of the emotional attachment I have to them.
Right. So
I can't wait
that's
for
why
the
I
other
love this
ones.
podcast. Is it's that's kind of the fun of it, is if especially when we get guests. I mean, usually it's Meghan who's seen the movie and I haven't.
Miss you.
We miss
I
you.
can't
Megan.
wait to do that.
I know. It's
have
gonna be
have a
the three
podcast
of
with
us.
Meghan.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's such a good time. Okay, but we do have to rate this cultural impact thing. So we have out of 5. I think that we have to say that it's not super high, just because there isn't a lot of buzz with it.
It should be. It should be really high.
This is a movie that is actually, that if you want to have an adventure with a movie, you should absolutely watch this film.
I think you should absolutely watch this film too, if you're willing to look past that there's actually a lot of dimensions and not just the 2-dimensional hypersexualized stuff.
Agreed.
Like we're talking about there was 50,000 titty moments and stuff, and we got to
I
see
think it was
that.
about 90 titties.
And we got to see Kyle MacLachlan's butt, which was, he had a really great butt.
Nice.
But
He actually did have a good butt.
we actually, that was the only male
And not
nudity
to,
we
not
actually
to be that
really
guy,
saw.
I'm just not a single peen. Interesting.
not a single peen.
And that is another 90s thing.
Yep. Except
grow some balls and show us a fucking dick. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it.
You got to see Kevin Costner under a waterfall when he did Robin Hood.
Oh,
but
okay.
that's another time. Anyways,
that's a different story for another day. I've not
but
seen that either.
I think if you're willing to watch this movie and look at it more dimensionally than just the hypersexualization, that it could have a cultural impact.
Yeah.
I think it's something that they should put into women's studies.
I agree. It's such a good thought. It's such a thought-provoking piece for that.
Yeah. Now, again, Now we're going to have to watch the documentary and see what the documentary has to say.
All right. I'm going to pitch. This might seem low, but hear me out. I'm going to pitch a 3.8 because we have to look at what's true.
We have to be honest about it.
Yeah. And I think that this podcast is us saying, hey, go watch it. But also in the world, in the time that it came out, it flopped because people were probably pretty divided on it in terms of either they were turned off by the graphics, the graphicness of it, and then never engaged with it, or the graphicness was the gimmick and they never looked past that. It just fell flat in terms of being able to show what it was in a world where seeing 80 breasts in a row is a little less shocking. Mm-hmm. You can see the story. But in 1995, I feel like that would have been a lot of boobs back then.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that we have to. I think it's a 3.8 because it just never got to have its day. But I would like it to have its day. So please go watch it. I think it was a fascinating adventure. It was very pretty. It was just really good. And let's see. Okay, so that puts us in the world of ratings. That puts us. That gives us a total of 4.2.
Wow.
And that puts us between. Just above it is the movie Saving Grace by Craig Ferguson, which is a great movie if you've never seen it. It's a fun British stoner comedy, really funny.
Okay.
But heartwarming, not just a stoner comedy. It's not like Harold and Kumar or something. And then below it is Clueless.
Shut up.
Yeah. That's where it sits in our list.
It got higher than Clueless.
It got higher than Clueless.
That makes me feel so good. That makes me feel so good.
Oh, man.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we've been going for a very long time. I think we've gone for over an hour and a half on this episode,
awesome.
Which we've done before, but it was well worth it. Sabra, thank you so much for coming on.
You for having me. I love this. I can't wait to do this again.
I know. This is going to be great. We have more episodes. I'm excited to get Meghan back in the mix.
We're going to meet Meghan for Lost Boys.
For Lost Boys. Yeah. It's gonna be good. So I'm stoked. We will see you all next time. My name's Ian.
I'm Sabra.
And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Film School Slacker. Our graphic design is by Mitch Ransdell. Music by Ariel Shalom and Ziv Moran. Voiceover audio provided by Mike D and Janet Paoni. Learn more at filmschoolslacker.com.